with a status update on John Cena and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for April 16th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Coming up short in her previous match against Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey will have another crack at the SmackDown Women's Champion at WrestleMania Backlash. During one of her vlogs on YouTube, Ronda explained why she uses the ankle lock. "I just really want to be able to put over Kurt as the whole reason that I'm doing the ankle lock, and it's a way to pay homage to him. And that's all I really care about getting out because he was my first mentor in this business, and I never really got to honor him outside of our tag. I mean, people compare us all the time because we were athletes outside of WWE and then came to it. As an Olympian, he has been like my hero since I was a little kid, so I love that he gave me the blessing to use the ankle lock." For his interview with Ryan Satin on Out of Character, Sami Zayn talked about the pandemic affecting pro wrestling and having to perform without fans in the Thunderdome. "I love the Thunderdome era. It's an unpopular opinion, I know, especially because I love the fans. And I'm not going to say that all the time, but I do. I really have a deep love for all of you, really. Very profound, really it means so much to me, and I know how lucky we are to spend this time together. It's a miracle that we're all here. It really is, so I don't take that lightly. However, not having the fans there throughout the Thunderdome opened the door for some new creative way to do things, which I personally, in my opinion, don't think we as a company took full advantage of. We still tried to present the show as if fans were there, but they weren't there, especially before the Thunderdome, when it was in the empty PC. That's why some of it felt so weird, and part of the reason why I'm such a fan of my match with Daniel Bryan. I know it's not exactly what you'd expect when you see on paper. Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship, you're expecting one thing. I know it wasn't that, and I would have loved to have had that, but the thing I'm so proud of is, if you watch that match back, it never feels weird like it's in an empty arena. AEW will be presenting Battle of the Belts tonight as the company taped the event after Rampage yesterday. With that in mind, if you don't want anything from the show spoiled, skip ahead to the next story. During his match against Scorpio Sky for the TNT title, Sammy Guevara would once again be booed heavily by fans, as he ended up winning the bout after hitting a low blow. On his podcast, Jim Cornette talked about the negative reception that Sammy Guevara and Ty Conti have been receiving, as he noted that they should be heels. "I think that would be fantastic. The next step is to turn them heel because Sammy already proved when he was a heel that he is more than a good heel. He even has the slappable face. He can be a smartass. He can do good stuff in the ring. If somebody needs to keep control of him and not let him do some of the things he wants to do, and with a pretty girl, that's exactly what gets heat." The Observer would note this in regards to Guevara's heel turn. "We know them making out is going to get heat. They're probably going to go in that direction. That's probably what they should be doing, and that's fine if people want to boo them." After leaving WWE, Toni Storm has found herself as a part of AEW. Talking on Busted Open Radio, Storm revealed that she wants to see another former WWE star in the company. Tegan Nox, I would have to say, would be high up on that list of people I'd like to see in AEW. I think that would be someone who would really deserve an awesome spot like that, and I know she loves this business as much as I do, so that would be cool to see that one day in the future. Who knows? Anything can happen. It's pro wrestling. Oh my god. It feels amazing to be a part of AEW. I feel like I'm part of something really special. I'm around so many hardworking women that are just really hungry to show the world, and it's been a crazy few weeks, but I love it so far. Following Cody Rhodes' return to WWE after his stint in All Elite Wrestling, Jim Ross noted on his podcast that he expects more stars to jump ship from AEW. You never know. I'm not going to name any names because how would I know? And if I did know names, why would I tell you for that matter? I just wouldn't do it. It's breaching trust. I have had no conversations, but let's be honest about it. If cash and creativity are better in one company than they are in the other, then you've got people traveling. I can't imagine that somewhere down the road others won't follow the same trail. Most of them, the younger guys especially, grew up with WWE products on their televisions. That's just the nature of the business. I don't know about leaving. I know the guys that we have are making a good living, or they wouldn't still be doing it. They've got a very meetable schedule. They work 1 day a week, and their travel is monitored and managed very well. I leave my house on Tuesdays, and I'm back at my house on Thursday. I suggest most of the guys on our roster have the same gig. The ones that want to make extra money can work indies, which I encourage them to do. I don't know who's next, and I don't care who's next. What difference does it make? The show will go on, the games will be played, and you'll just have people playing with different jerseys. I don't know. I don't have any idea. I'm sure at some point in time there will be others. At some point in time, you run your course. Cody Rhodes also had a dark match on SmackDown against Seth Rollins when the show went off the air, as he thanked those in attendance after the fact. For WWE, April 15th is the day that the company decides to release Mini. With no official word on who will be let go this time around, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful would write, "I know a lot of people have been concerned about WWE release day to day, including much of the talent. At least one higher up told me that they didn't know if any release is set to happen today, if you'd like to take their word for it." In some disheartening news, pro wrestling legend Virgil recently took to Instagram to reveal that he is having complications with his health, suffering from 2 strokes. "Dearest Meat Sauce Mafia, I am grateful that I can communicate something that has happened to me. Unfortunately, I have some really hard news to share. If you were wondering why I haven't been so engaged over the last few weeks, it's because I was given bad news. Since Mania weekend, of all weekends, I was not feeling so great. Something wasn't right. My head, my arm, and my heart. When I came back from Dallas, I ended up going to the doctor and they discovered a whole bunch of issues. For starters, without me knowing, over the past few months, the doctor had identified that I suffered 2 massive strokes. Like, I didn't even have a clue till I started not working with one of my arms. It's basically not able to do anything. This was the decent news. The worst news is that I've been told that I am fighting with an early stage of dementia. The years of taking the big main event bump every night that nobody else wanted to take had started to affect me. I'm nervous, I'm scared, and God knows I can't afford to get through this and even make a living. It's really sad, as all I want to do is have fun and do what I always do, survive. What am I asking for? Well, for starters, my roommate and team have helped me with this page to help get by. I'll also sell autographs, video shoutouts, or even if you could download my $2 video game on both iOS and Android, just look up Meat Sauce Madness. It means everything. I'm asking you to send this out to all of your friends, family, or anyone that you ever thought loved wrestling. It all helps. I ain't looking for your sympathy. I'm looking for the love I have poured into this business to hopefully carry me through this time. I did my time. I took my lumps. Now I'm just trying to survive. Hope this makes sense. Love you all." It was reported yesterday by Brad Shepard that John Cena is expected to make his WWE return in late June of this year. With fans excited over the possibility of seeing his comeback, Ringside News would report that a lot of people are talking about John Cena and a possible summer return. We asked about this and the idea wasn't shut down. We also learned that Cena is always on call. He is under contract for a few more years and available in case of emergency to WWE. It would additionally be noted that if Brock or Roman got hurt or got COVID the week of Mania, they could plug in Cena into the main event on very short notice. taking to his podcast to discuss how much it potentially costs to produce an episode of AEW Dynamite. Former WCW President Eric Bischoff used ad dollars as an indicator for this. My guess is the cost of producing that show when they're having to travel and doing it live. I would be shocked if they were able to produce that show for less than $450,000 an episode. That doesn't include talent. I'm talking about producing the show. There's half that $865,000 a week. Now you've got to throw talent on top of that. Now you've got to throw travel on top of that. Now you've got to throw a lot of things things on top of that. So it's hard to say whether AEW is profitable or not. I don't know. In terms of how does TBS look at Dynamite, that all depends on how well they're doing with advertising. Are they getting premium ad dollars, or are they getting mid-tier ad dollars? Are they getting opportunistic buys? So since none of us know that, AEW could be over-delivering to TBS on those expectations, or they could be under-delivering. What are they getting for that primetime real estate? Are they getting premium ad dollars like they would if they had a beautiful home on it, or are they just getting by because they've got a mobile home on a beautiful piece of property? It's the ad dollars that AEW is generating that is going to become one of, not the determining factor. Nobody that's watching that show, that's writing about it, talking about it, has any clue what those numbers are. Therein lies one of the key factors in what happens to AEW. Speaking of AEW, it seems UFC President Dana White will be stopping by for one of the promotion's events after inviting Tony Khan and Jim Ross to the most recent UFC pay-per-view. Talking about this on his podcast, JR noted that Dana White invited Tony Khan and I to attend. I left my house at 10 o'clock here on the beach to go to the event because it didn't start on pay-per-view till 10 o'clock ET. I don't think the main event went into the ring until midnight or close to it. It was a long night in that respect, but Dana's always an amazing host. He had us front row seats and put us right behind him. I didn't watch the show back, but according to my timelines, we were on TV a lot, and that was nice to put AEW over to some degree. He and Tony are buddies, and I've known Dana for a long time myself. Probably not as well as Tony does. He remembers my name and was glad I came, so he's just a great host and a good dude. When we're in Vegas coming up in several weeks, he's going to come to one of our events, so Dana's a good dude. We have a lot in common. We're trying to sell tickets to a live event and then televise it. There's a lot of common ground there. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.